would like to bring to stage our keynote speaker. Please listen, ladies and gentlemen, with so much joy in our heart and with the understanding of this gathering. Please welcome and receive with me the Group Managing Director and the Chief Executive Officer of TVC Communications, talking about the trust crisis, combating misinformation in an age of AI. Please welcome Victoria Ajayi. Please put your hands together for Victoria Ajayi, ladies and gentlemen.
Victoria Ajayi is a media executive, governance leader, and strategic voice shaping conversations across business, leadership, and innovation. As the Group Managing Director and CEO of TVC Communications, she leads one of Nigeria's most influential media groups, home to TVC News, TVC Entertainment, Max FM Lagos, Max FM Abuja, Yanga FM and Adaba FM, collectively reaching over 30 million people daily. With a career spanning finance, governance, media, and executive leadership, Victoria has built a reputation for precision, influence, and impact at the highest levels. Beyond the newsroom and boardroom, she serves on the Global Governing Council of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, representing an institution with over 250,000 members across 180 countries, where she also chairs the Audit Committee. She's also a board advisor, investor, AI enthusiast, and mentor passionate about raising the next generation of leaders, especially women navigating executive leadership and strategic influence. Victoria is the author of The Precision-Led Woman, a leadership guide empowering women to step boldly into positions of influence and authority. Recognized among the top 100 career women in Nigeria and the top 50 women in accounting globally, her journey reflects what happens when leadership meets clarity, excellence, and vision. Victoria Ajayi continues to shape industries, influence conversations, and redefine what modern leadership looks like.
Okay, I'm trying to gauge the audience because I like to know those who are in the audience so I know how to direct what I'm saying. If you don't know who you're speaking to, I think you just talk off the cuff. I can see some very young people at the back. I'm guessing they're students, and I can see a lot of professionals and experts in the room. So I can channel what I'm going to say accordingly. Please permit me. I don't know the protocols that have been observed before I came here. So just permit me to maintain those protocols as I proceed. So, distinguished guests, industry leaders, students who I can see at the back, marketers, innovators, creators, technology enthusiasts, which I think many of you are, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege and a responsibility for me to address you on a subject that's actually dear to my heart, but also affects many of you here today, not just as professionals, but as business leaders and as citizens of this country. Some of you as parents, but most especially as human beings that we are. The theme that I have been given, although I know that there's a general theme about the culture algorithm, but the theme for me here to speak on is the trust crisis. And it's about combating misinformation in the age of AI and instant content. Now, when I got this topic, I smiled because we deal with it every single day as a media organization. And as you know, news never slips. So sometimes you see some of us who are in media, we get very little sleep because it continues whilst you are in bed. And you are addicted to it because the moment you get up, you pick up your phone and you want to know what's going on. So some of us who are behind those things don't sleep because of you. So trust, the trust crisis. And I'll start by using an African proverb. It says, a lie can travel for 20 years. Who knows how to complete it? If you lived with an old woman. He said, truth will prevail, partially. Who knows what the ending of that proverb is? It says, a lie can travel for 20 years, but it only takes one day for the truth to catch up with it. It's almost like that one where they say in Yoruba. No, not nemesis. You know that one in Yoruba? Okay, in English, every day for the thief, one day for the owner. Right? It's almost like that. The challenge today is that technology has given us has given lie a private jet. It is. And sometimes the truth is still trying to find a taxi, an Uber, or a Bolt. Whereas that lie has traveled, gotten to its destination, arrived, and built another lie. In fact, it's getting ready to travel again in that private jet. Never before in human to rebuild. There was a time when people asked, what happened? If you remember, what happened there? That's not the question anymore now. What do people say? Can anyone guess? Can I trust this information? Can I trust what you're showing me? That's what people say now. Because if you send me anything at all, I take it with a pinch of salt. Anything, because you just cannot trust it, which means there's a huge trust deficit in our economy, in our nation, all around the world right now. In Nigeria today, before a news story is verified and before facts are established, before authorities respond, the story has already circulated on WhatsApp, on X, on Twitter, on Telegram, on all the platforms you can think about. In many cases, millions have already formed their opinions. The judgment comes before the investigation. Can you imagine? We've not even investigated something. Judgment. Some of you, if you are judges, a lot of people will end up in hellfire. Honestly, you've not investigated. You've already, that gavel, taking a decision straight away. That is the world that we live in now. It's a world where speed often defeats accuracy. It's a world where virality defeats credibility, and a world where emotion frequently defeats evidence. We get so emotional, so riled up. But there's no ounce of credibility behind the item or the story you are getting riled up over. So as media professionals, we see this every day, so we're no longer fazed by it. However, I would like some of you to remember incidents where false reports of fuel scarcity. Many of you would remember there's fuel scarcity at whatever it is. You start to see queues being gathered. Everyone queuing for fuel. Why are we queuing for fuel? We don't know. On the mainland, there's queue. So let's just buy the fuel quickly. You really do not know. How many of you remember, and I vividly still remember this situation. It was somewhere around Oshodi where there was a small bomb blast. If, those who are older in the room remember, where a lot of people died. I think Isolo, not Oshodi. A lot of people died because there was a lot of misinformation and people went into a canal and people were trampled over and all sorts of things. You just hear something and someone else hears something and everybody started running. Or rumors about banks. You all heard what happened about the bank run, right? Even now, you hear rumors about banks in Nigeria, where they will tell you that bank is going to fold or people start to withdraw their funds from that bank. If you are an ex-banker or a banker in the room, you know what I'm talking about. People rush to withdraw funds because there's a rumor. So sometimes the content will look convincing. Sometimes the images will appear authentic. Sometimes the videos will seem real. But reality is no longer determined by appearance because technology has changed the game, and it's changed it big time. Today, a teenager with a laptop, it's no longer new, can create content and it will appear more authentic than something produced by a newsroom 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. And artificial intelligence is accelerating this. Now, let me tell you a story because I'm a storyteller. I work in an organization where we tell stories, so I love stories. It's a story about a village town crier. And I'll ask a question about this after, so pay attention. Many years ago, before radio, before TV, before social media, before smartphones, before artificial intelligence, we had an African community. And we had a town crier. You all know the town crier, right? The town crier will walk through the village with his gong, beating the gong. Whenever people heard the sound, They will come out of their homes to listen, to hear what the town crier has to say. Not because of the gong or anything, but because they trusted the person carrying the gong. Everyone knew the town crier in any village. Think about that. The power was never the gong. The power was in the trust they had in the town crier. The villagers knew him or her. They knew where the person lived. They knew the person's family. And most importantly, if that person got the message wrong, assuming a king had sent a message to the village, what would they do? They will go to the town crier's home and hold the town crier. So one day, imagine a stranger coming into town, carrying a much bigger gong, right? Loud gong, shinier gong. I wish I had a gong here so I can hit one for you. And he began shouting this message across the village. Some of the messages were true, some were false. In fact, some were completely exaggerated. Some messages he invented. But his gong was louder. His gong was shinier. He was very entertaining, I beg your pardon, in the way he presented the message. So people listened because he added some, pizzazz or something to it. He was also faster. The way he moved with his gong, I don't know, maybe he had, these things that the kids put on their wheels now to just move around with the gong. A scooter, maybe it was on a scooter with the gong. So he could weave through the village very fast. So he was faster with his message as well. But before long, confusion spread in the village. People no longer knew which message to believe. The problem was not the gong. The problem was trust. Ladies and gentlemen, the village in today's world is what? Who can guess? The village in today's world is where? I can hear a few things. The gongs is what? The gongs are smartphones. The stranger there is misinformation. The village in today's world is social media. That is where we all are on right now. The louder gong is artificial intelligence. So we've introduced a couple of things now. The village square, or the village, which is social media. The stranger, misinformation. The gongs, our smartphones. Every second, millions of messages competing for our attention. Some are true, some are false. Some are generated by humans, some are generated by technology. And many people can no longer tell the difference, which brings us to the defining question of our age. Who is today's town crier? Because I didn't ask about that. Who is today's town crier? Who do people trust? Is it the media? Is it brands? I saw a lot of brand experts and managers here. Is it government? Is it the technology companies, those who are working and creating all the algorithms behind AI, all the LLMs behind artificial intelligence? Is it the influencers? Or is it nobody at all? Because when trust disappears, even the truth begins to sound like a rumor. And that is why we have the trust crisis challenging our generation today. Now, I'll move very quickly because I heard, when the last set of speakers were talking, and I want you to be the judge. Is AI the hero? In today's world, is it the hero or the villain? If you feel artificial intelligence to you plays the part of the hero, because a speaker mentioned earlier that he watches this series and it never ends well. I don't want that to cloud your judgment. If you feel AI is the hero, just raise your hands. In today's world, very few. If you feel AI is a villain, raise your hand. Everybody feels it's hero. It's, AI is the hero here. Okay. So the verdict is neither here nor there. I like that. You know why? I cannot tell you whether it's a hero or villain either. Because every technology comes with two gifts. They come bearing two types of gifts. One gift solves the problem, and the other gift creates another problem. That's the way technology is. You think, look, this bright, shiny toy has just arrived for us to solve all the problems we have in marketing. And as you are solving it and you're thinking, wonderful, we're creating this product, we're showing it, it's an enabler, like they said. You know, we can create these ads very quickly. We don't need the entire marketing agency team anymore. Another problem then develops. You then begin to deal with Archon and the rest of them who wants to use, you know, legal lingo to just stifle you. Artificial intelligence is no different. AI can help many people. However, the same tool that can illuminate the truth that also manufactures deception is the same tool that can create problems for us in the society. So, who will the society trust when AI can create anything? And I'll end with the story of TVC so that I'll let you continue the event. At TVC, we learned this lesson firsthand. Last year, we launched the AI-powered news anchors, delivering news headlines, short news bulletins in 5 languages, Pidgin, Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, of course, and in English. Many people were fascinated. Many people were excited. You know, others were nervous, actually. And a few were skeptical, understandably so. One of the first questions people asked us is, how do you know this can be trusted? That question was important because it revealed something very fundamental. People were not evaluating the technology. They were evaluating trust. They wanted to know who controls the content. Because if you're delivering these short bulletins, is it news that is being taken from websites? Is it just a crawler going in there and taking news from social media? Who controls the information? Who is accountable if something goes wrong? In other words, they were not placing their trust in artificial intelligence. They were placing their trust in the institution behind it. That experience reinforced something powerful. Technology does not create trust. Trust accepts or creates the acceptance of technology. I repeat, technology does not create trust. Trust is the one that creates the acceptance of technology. So, it doesn't matter how sophisticated your technology is, credibility is at the center of everything. Credibility means your humanity remains, right? Now, I'll end by just telling you, because I was told to, talk about how that trust and how we can combat misinformation. It's just 3 things I will tell you, because I don't have a magic wand. Nobody has that solution. I'm sorry. When they gave it to me, they were going to think I'll come up here and say, this is the right answer. There's no way, no right answer to combat misinformation in this age. But there are things we can do. And I've couched it with a mnemonic VIP. V, therefore, verify before amplifying. Please verify before amplifying. Not everything that is first is true. Not everything you see. Oh, this was the first person to break it. I've just seen it. In fact, when I see that, I distrust it more because I'm trying to look for where it's come from. I do not believe any platform at all, except you are licensed. I don't, because it could have come from someone in their bedroom somewhere with a laptop, a 15-year-old. So V for verify before amplifying, and not everything that is viral is valuable. The second I there is invest in media literacy. And media literacy I'm talking about here is in tools that you need. The way we as a company invested in tools to enhance what it is that we do so we could debunk fake news with very advanced tools. So no matter what, they share a lot of false information now, but we simply need to put it through some tools. And immediately the analysis is shown. It tells us the audio was from 2 years ago. The picture was from yesterday. The location is real. So people will take different elements and put it together. So invest in media literacy. The ability to critically evaluate information may become one of the most important skills of a 21st century marketer, technology enthusiast, or leader. And lastly, P, platforms. Build platforms and institutions that people can trust. That P is very, very important. Like I said, I trust no platform. I verify. In any case, my background says trust but verify. Those of you who are in the finance or accounting background, you know what I mean, right? Build platforms and institutions people can trust, because platforms will change, technology will evolve, algorithms will change. AI, like we said, would evolve faster than we can ever imagine. But trusted institutions, trusted platforms remain the anchor in uncertain times. So my final thought, and I bring you back to the village town crier story. As you leave MacHack today, let us remember that the future does not belong to those who have the biggest gong, or the shiniest gong, or the loudest platform, or the fastest algorithm, or the most advanced AI. The future belongs to those whom people can trust to carry the gong. Because technology may amplify that message, but only trust gives it a meaning. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the organizers of MacHack 5.0, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Please, another round of applause for Victoria Ajayi, the Group Managing Director and CEO of TVC Communications. And now we just had a keynote speaker by the name Victoria Ajayi. I think it's about time we change your name here, because the level of your intelligence is so profound. Another round of applause for the keynote speaker, ladies and gentlemen. Really powerful.